Chapter 1. Frosted pinks, luscious purples, and charred oranges painted the Vacaville skyline, waltzing between looming trees. Its resplendent sun stood center, quietly descending to the city's rolling hills, a picturesque backdrop to a sullen evening. The rivers were in mourning. While most oh, well, was that King Boo there? What is that? What is that? What is that thing? Oh, yes. Well, hello, children. Welcome to our special reading of my new book.
Pants.
We're here today. I think it's actually Smash or Dash. This is a super cast for this episode. That's right. That's what we're doing. Who is that? What is going on over there? What is that? It reminds me.
No.
It reminds me of what is that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me.
The skin thing from Doctor Who.
Bananas and pajamas. No.
Roly-poly from Kirby.
No.
Is that what that is?
Where the fuck are we?
Welcome back. There's no time to explain. Get in the car.
It's you.
It's time for Smash or Dash. Are you ready, soldier?
No. And who's that?
That's Red Shrek.
What?
Oh, it's Kellyjelly. That's right. That's it.
Hey,
that makes more sense. Yeah, that's right. It has his name right there. I completely forgot about that. Okay.
If you guys are busy, I can always come back another time.
No. If you leave, they might come back.
All right.
The bananas and pajamas.
Just the bananas.
They
no
had
Jigglypuffs to speak of.
They had turkey guns.
I do like where this is going.
I didn't.
You did?
No.
The boots are under the floorboard?
And there was a bear.
Oh, that pesky bear. I can't believe what he did with the Enchiridion.
There was so much death and destruction. One banana killed the other.
That probably happened as well in that show. Banana Guard was never the same. All the same.
Death to the Blue Lions.
Oh, it's 3 houses. Okay.
Red Eagles forever, or Black Eagles forever. Fuck. Their color is red. Why are they called Black Eagles? Come on. God damn it.
I think he's awake.
Fuck. It bothers me. Don't call your team Black Eagles when your banner is red. Is it red? Shit.
What would be funny is that they're actually called the Red Eagles, but they're not.
They're not.
After all of that. Yeah, well, he's doing that. Welcome to Supercast with us. We're going to do a Smash or Dash episode today. It's going to be fun. Kelly's back here to join us. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a millisecond, but I'm Jonno, he's Zantok, he's Kelly. We're going to get through that little spiel.
Red.
There we go. Oh, look at that.
Red.
It is a red emblem. There's a little bit of black there, isn't it? No, that's dark red.
I mean, the background is red, but it's either a black or a dark red eagle. I can't tell for sure. But it's bothersome.
Yes, it is. Well, that sounded Golem-esque. Are you excited for the Golem game?
What?
The Golem video game.
I have no idea what the fuck your French self is talking about.
I think I saw something about that.
It's coming out, yes. Yeah, it's a big deal around these parts.
The backstory that we didn't know we wanted.
The backstory to what?
Oh, Super Cast Brothers.
Oh, so this isn't the Fire Emblem Awakening prequel?
No.
Oh man, I was looking forward to
Isn't that
this. I was looking forward to going on an absolute murder rampage as Crown's evil father.
Me too. His name is Mork.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm. Well, and there would have been no child units, which would have been fucking nice. And no Avatar.
Although, yeah. What would the world have been like without an Avatar?
Well, the Fire Nation would have won.
That's true. For more than 100 years.
And
James Cameron lost a lot of money.
I was going to go for him next. We wouldn't be hearing him talk about his 3 or 5 sequels for 10, 15 fucking years. Like, dude, nobody cares anymore. Please shut the fuck up about your Avatar movies. For fuck's sake. The only reason people talk about them in the first place is because, ooh, 3D. The 3D phase is over again. Nobody cares.
It looks cool at the time, and then that was kind of it. It was quite the anomaly. And there we go. Cheers.
And then there was that bullshit when Avengers Endgame beat it in sales for the box office, and they're just like, let's do a limited release to put it back in theaters so it can get its #1 spot back. And it started a whole war between everybody. It's like, dude, you guys know that Disney owns both these movies, right? You're all fucking idiots. What the fuck are you doing?
That's funny.
God damn it.
They're creating fake fan wars for money.
Pretty much. Like, I'll support Marvel, but that's some nonsense.
Right. I'm waiting for the E.T. sequel myself. Both the video game and the movie.
I've played that game. I've played it.
I'm sorry.
It makes no fucking sense.
How are you still alive?
Who says I'm alive? Did you not see me earlier?
You're half ghost.
Yes.
Wow,
there were nightmares. There were Reese's Pieces following me.
That sounds pleasant to me.
Not in the game, it isn't.
I think the only title in history to actually be fill and landfill with. So that's pretty
one of these days, I need to see if I can find an emulator for Atari and just like record me playing Atari or ET for half an hour and see like, okay, at what point do I say fuck it? And then I have to find Superman 64 and do the same thing.
Those are going to be the videos that finally put you on the map. You're going to have like 40,000 views overnight.
I mean, the Danganronpa videos honestly have gotten really good views. So did Kid Icarus Uprising.
Sweet, yeah.
Really good for art standards, at least.
Little fan base too. Yeah, of course.
Like when I see a video go into double digits and it's been less than a week since it got published, it's like, oh shit, people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when it takes
absolutely.
a month for it to hit double digits, like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Or a year, like over at Super Cash Builders.
I actually did some. I got bored recently, and I started looking at each month, going back to the beginning of Select Star Gaming, to see what were the 10 most popular videos in terms of views each month in each year. And what I learned is that our viewers are degenerates. They are a bunch of degenerate males, Kelly. Because one of our most common videos. God, where's the title? I fucking hate Mike for doing this. Way Out Trail played a game called it was Telltale's The Walking Dead Michonne, and one episode in particular got a lot of views based off of the title for that episode. Oh, that's the wrong document. That's why I can't find it. That's the Super Cash Builders document. I was like, why the fuck can I not find this thing? It's in the wrong spot. But he titled this episode. That's also the wrong thing. Where the top videos? That's the tab. Jesus feckin' Christ. The Walking Dead Michonne Part 4. Wetting Your Pants.
Oh, buddy.
So, it got, it's, as of the end of 2021, it is the second most watched video on the channel, and I hate it. I hate it so much. It has 571 views as of the end of 2021. The only video to beat that is a Pixelmon Generations episode that goes over Ultra Space, which has 705 views. It's like, motherfucker. I hate all you children. And I know that me saying this, if anybody watches, I know that what they're going to do. They're going to go check that out, and it's going to put the views back up. and I regret bringing it up. But the other one that's had a similar issue, that's like, oh, this title is the only reason it got any views, is called Naked Flesh and Explosions. It's like, motherfucker, all you children Googling naked people are finding this video and you're just giving it all kinds of views, and I hate you for it. Please stop.
It begins and it ends with Way Off Trail as well. So
It's all his fucking fault.
what a guy. What a guy. Talk about below the belt. What a... Yeah, that's a what a time. What a time. What an intro. Maybe Kelly, besides being scared of us, Kelly's also here for a very specific reason.
What's that?
And that reason is for Super Cast Brothers, this podcast where we get together and talk about Super Smash Brothers and do a Smash or Dash episode every 6 weeks. And this time around, it's another one that involves Kelly in a certain way.
Right. I forgot we did those.
Yeah.
Wait. So, okay, if Kelly's here. Okay. Last time we had Kelly on, we took 4 characters that he created movesets for on the Smashtopia Wiki. And we're just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's put them in a battle royale. And did we just pick 2 of them? Yeah? That's what we did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's think here. Kelly, you've been making more characters since then, right? Like, you made at least 4 more characters since we had you on last time?
Yes. Some of the characters that I've made after those first 4 include Makoto Naegi and a couple other Danganronpa protagonists. One for Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Dr. Derek Stiles from Atlas's Trauma Team series, as well as Manny Calavera from Grim Fandango.
Okay.
Wow.
Just to name a few random ones.
I know one of those pretty well, barely know the rest, but I think we can work something out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So what do you say we find a day to put on the schedule, and we can come back and we can discuss these Oh, we're filming.
That's what we're doing, yes. The last 10 minutes of
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
we just did, we're, okay, well, let's just get into it then. Those 4 characters are going to be involved in today's Smash or Dash episode, the Kellyjelly Special
2.0.
2.0.
What?
Just looks... That could be a meme. That could get us famous. That looks awesome. You look like Oopa. Oh yeah, drink from that bottle, you baby boy. Beforehand, Kelly, we introduced a new thing to our Smash Dash as a new feature in season 3. Essentially at the start of the episode, just to usually wade through kind of like the general nebulous BS, which didn't happen this episode. We're including on top of the nebulous BS. Yeah. We gather a list of 5 characters. If we have a guest, it's tailored to kind of what the guest knows and likes, as well as ourselves. And we just discuss, the 3 of us, what we think their chances in Smash are. The only boundaries being we can't do 100% and we can't do 0. A character cannot be guaranteed in Smash, and a character cannot be impossible in Smash. So
unless they're 4th parties.
Even then, I think we would probably not go 0% on the 4th party and rate their chances. But perhaps a controversial opinion, I feel. Ronald McDonald will certainly be on next Smash.
I don't think so at all.
Well, that being said...
All that being said, we have 5 characters picked out. We picked them out, because when we're having a guest on, we're doing this type of episode. We feel like, much like the Smash Dash matchups, really, our guest needs to know who these characters are. So we made sure to pick a few out that you should be able to talk about. And if you like, I don't know what this is, then I'll be like, panic. Pick another character now that we can just quickly switch to instead. So, we'll be doing that. How this is going to work, we'll be going through our thoughts on them one by one in order, and after that, we'll do final thoughts, and we'll go ahead and give our ranking at that point, as John mentioned, between 1 and 99%. And once all three of us have given our scores, I will average them out to see what our final ranking is. Right now, and you don't have to take this into consideration when you're giving your ranking, but right now, our averaged out characters, we have our most likely choices Alf, with an 80% chance to be the next Smash, with our least likely being Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins at only 10%.
Hmm.
That said, you don't have to think to yourself like, oh, well, I think this character is more likely than Alf, so I have to give them above 80. Don't think about that at all. Just do whatever you feel.
I see.
Live in the moment.
Yeah.
Live in the... Sounds like an interesting segment idea. I'm all in.
We hope it will be interesting.
Sweet.
Especially
We've done
since
it
they're
twice
tailored
now.
towards me.
Yeah.
They are. Mostly.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the first pick that we have here for Rate Their Chances. And that is going to be a character that I know you know pretty well, because this is also a character that you have made a moveset for. And that's Travis Touchdown of No More Heroes.
Excellent. Starting off
Yes,
the original.
sir.
Mm-hmm. So, Travis here, my thoughts on him. I think one big kind of difficulty with him in his quarter as far as Nintendo is concerned is that he's a little bit raunchy. Just a little bit.
Round.
I mean, how does he recharge his beam katana again? Yeah. I mean, I don't think that'll really
Can
be
we
a
say that
thing
word on the
in
show?
Smash. I think he would be fairly censored in that case if he got in. I don't think it'd be a big problem. Beyond that, I feel like with his moves, the way he moves his fighting style, I think he'd be a very easy translation to Smash. We don't have to get Sakurai going on his spiel about, oh, we have to preserve the feel of the game, and we have to let Steve build blocks, and we have to give the hero his magic menu. And let's be honest, Sakurai goes a little too far into preserving the mechanics of another game and putting it into the character in Smash. Like, you can chill just a little bit. But I don't think Travis really has that problem. It'd be fairly simple. Pick a few of his combo moves, throw them in, give him a good upper. I don't think he'd be that difficult to do. It's just a matter of... I think Nintendo would be more concerned about just his content rating, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jonno?
Sure. I see where you're coming from because we do have mature characters represented in Smash.
Yeah, but we have
you could say
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta's raunchy in her own way, or Metal Gear has its raunchy moments. Although I understand Travis is a lot more aggressive. He's in your face.
He's a
But
horny
Kelly
beeb.
presents at the very least, though. Yeah, he is. He is. Like a lot of folks that want to listen to our podcast. With that being said, no takebacks.
Before we lose our
Kelly
viewers, I like
did.
to point out that I did
Listen.
not say that. He did.
Yep. They'll prove it on TikTok. It'll be a good segment. Kelly for the most part has a pretty tame moveset on Smashtopia while still retaining Travis's character. He does have the special motion that Travis performs for charging his katana. I mean, they can change that. They can even make it a censored block.
I feel like it
Yeah.
would be. I feel like they do like a victory animation for it. I think.
If I can interject there, Jono, I had envisioned it so it's less like explicit and more like almost like he's shaking like a soda can kind of sideways, side to side a bit, not quite up and down, but kind of like a diagonal. Whatever they have to do to kind of make it a bit more clean.
To be fair, this does remind me. Wario, I think it was it was Mario Party on the Wii has a minigame where you're shaking a can.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Shake it up.
That is true. That is
It's a little bit sus. A little bit sus.
That and Suda and Sakurai are good friends. If you want to follow the old fantasy trope of Kojima and Sakurai being good friends, getting Snake in the game, that could be a good starter because we know that Suda has talked in the past about wanting No More Heroes and represented in Smash in a way. To the point of in No More Heroes 3, one of the boss fights that Travis has is a direct ripoff of Smash Brothers, and you fight it in a platform fighting style.
Nice.
That was given the okay by Sakurai and Nintendo and Sora. Yeah. So interesting. I think that out of these indie quote unquote characters, given that the game's published by Ubisoft in most regions, and with those types of characters, he is fairly above the competition, or less so indie, more so like a cult classic kind of character.
I was going to say, like, I don't think Suda's an indie company, is it?
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was
he's
like,
just,
that's not indie.
Right. He's more cult, more Hideki Kamiya level.
He's niche.
Mm-hmm. So, Kelly, what are your thoughts on Travis?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's neat to see the presence that has already been established by Sakurai and Suda's friendship. Like, we see Travis got a Mii costume.
Yep. Travis
got three spirits from No More Heroes 3. And that's already pushing like the boundaries of like, oh, you've got your foot in the door already. It's not absolute zero. You're approaching that limit. So it's like it's acknowledging we understand the fans want him. So here's something. So, you see some characters that are kind of labeled like honorary Nintendo characters, like maybe Bomberman or something like that. Or their series, or Phoenix Wright, their series is very prevalent. I don't know if Travis is quite that level, but it's interesting. Like, first game, it was developed specifically for the Wii, for the technology at the time, and was a Wii exclusive. So even back in the first game, it's time. It was just interesting to see this grassroots movement and the overall world he represents. So I know Zantok, you were talking about like some of the detractors for him, but I think some of those, like you said, could easily be replaced. Like, remove the blood, remove the swearing, make the motions a little less overt, keep that charisma and that style, and well, you've seen from that boss fight that you mentioned as well, he's almost halfway there.
I concur, and I would like to say if we can find a way to keep this. If we can find a way to keep the swearing in and just have him say like "fuck Mario," that'd be fine.
The
big wigs might not like it.
See, Jonno has a problem.
It would make them.
Jonno's been trying to emulate a lot of things with the podcast. He's created a lot of Final Smashes that are just like characters straight up murdering each other. It's like, what the fuck has been wrong? I don't know what's been going on. He's gone edgy the past couple of years, and I don't like it. I don't like this new edgy Jonno that we've been getting here.
This is Smash Brothers. It's not Anarchy Reigns.
So I thought you got this out of your system in our last Smashtopia.
Ninja Bread Man, I won. I won with that one on the final Smash.
Fucking Ninja Bread Man, I still can't believe we did that. Oh my god.
For those that don't know, it was the oven final Smash, right?
Yeah. And the characters are just like put in the oven. It's like, fuck. I mean, Jonno has had other ones where he's just like, what if this character, like Dr. Mario's, was the characters literally flatlining on the hospital bed? It's like, dude, what? No, we're not having them flatline. No, and then we had the doctors are in, which was amazing. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, Derek's has a flatline.
That's true.
That's true.
But anyway.
Okay.
All right.
We got to do Travis's percentage.
Let's do closing thoughts on Travis, and we'll get up our scores with it. So Travis, as you guys were mentioning, he is halfway there. Not that I think I'm going to give him a 50% rating because that feels way too high for me on Travis. But when it comes to the third parties that we have gotten to Smash, the sheer majority of them have been legacy characters, or at least legacy franchises. The only two that really feel off to me as far as legacy in Smash or legacy in gaming were Bayonetta, which I'm pretty sure mainly got in because they had a strong relationship with Platinum, and it was like, hey, she's getting some votes in the ballot, so we can go for that. And then some people may disagree with me here, but Joker and Persona, I know Persona's been around, but I don't think it was like really extremely popular until, from my perspective, like Persona 4, Persona 5. So I don't know if the elixir was relayed for there, but the character still works in great, and they got more people into the series, so that was awesome. But Travis, I don't see him in the legacy category, but I do still think that, like, looking at him, he would fit in a lot better than some other choices. Like, he's going to be a lot better of a fit than fucking Duke Nukem, for just a real wild example there. But just his movement style, I think he would work pretty well if Suda has a good relationship with Nintendo. That's a big point in their favor. He's popular, fans like him. It's pretty much just going to come down to if Nintendo is good with him or not. And if they put him in as a Mii costume, steps already through the door. Just see how much further he's got to go. But as for my score I'm going to give for him, I'm actually going to say... I'm going to say 30% for Travis. Decent bet.
Yeah.
I think he's like his chances aren't terrible, but I do think it's more a case just like there's a lot of third party picks out there.
Yeah.
Stacking them up against like he has better chances than Duke Nukem, but against Master Chief, his odds are much lower. Against Ryu Hayabusa, much lower.
Mm-hmm.
What are you, Donna?
And I think that's a fair point. That's a fair point because rate the chances looking forward in the future into Smash 6, there's some variables to take into account. If Smash 6 were to happen tomorrow, even, which I think is kind of a fair bastion to jump from, it's still hard to say with Travis whether he would get it or not, considering we are getting character cuts in the roster.
We have
certainly
to.
aren't getting as many. Yeah, and certainly aren't getting as many third parties as we did this last time. So the competition's there. Besides that, though, I think that he, there was a time when maybe he could have been seen as similarly in likelihood to a character like Bayonetta, and Bayonetta is in. So I'm gonna be a little bit more generous. I don't feel like he's breaking 40s, but I'm gonna give him a 38.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Kelly, what do you think?
And Kelly.
This might sound crazy, but I think for Travis at this moment in time, it almost reads like a Snake situation for what Snake was going for in Melee. He couldn't make the cut, but he was a shoe-in for the next game. Seeing Travis's presence from as early as 2017 on Travis Strikes Again with the Switch, up till No More Heroes 3, his presence has been pretty consistent. And he's got that goofy, zany style that I think, if they made Snake work with the poses and the fighting movements, with all how serious and stoic he is, Travis has got it in the bag. I think it's an all or nothing. I'm going to give him Suda 51%.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how that averages out here.
That's clever.
With
Got
a
one guy who
30,
can do math.
38, and 51% rating, Travis gets an all-around 39.67% chance, according to our Rate Their Chances.
Cool.
Not bad. Not bad.
That'll put him in the upper half, most likely, but we'll see how things go with the rest of our characters that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
So, next
Absolutely.
up, we've got Susie from Kirby Planet Robobot.
Mm.
Goodness.
So,
Isn't that girl from the TikTok memes? Hello, my name is Susie.
I don't look at that site, so I have no fucking idea. That joke fell flat. Good job. Try referencing a site that's not just for babies.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, it's for a lot of people.
No.
Yeah,
So
it's just not man babies.
Susie falls in a similar line that we've had for several other Kirby villains, following in the lines of Marks and Magalore and possibly others I don't know of, where it's like, oh, they're so helpful, they're nice, they need Kirby's help doing a thing, and then it turns out they're bad. Kirby's really got to, first of all, find new villain archetypes, and also stop trusting all your villains, Kirby. Please.
He's too friendly.
He's too. I mean, he keeps befriending Day-to-Day, even though Day-to-Day keeps just like, man, I want to kill you, Kirby. Why are you being nice to me? You're making it real hard to hate you.
I mean, Day-to-Day's pretty good. Like, it's mostly not his. Usually, he's under mind control or whatever. Like, he's usually good friends with Kirby, isn't he? Since the Wii, at least.
For the most part, and then all the other times, just like Kirby thinks that Day-to-Day like stole his cake He's like, I'm gonna go beat you up. It's like, I didn't fucking do it. Stop hitting me!
Wrongly blamed a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's mainly just the old cartoon from Fox that people are just like, man, Dedede wants to kill Kirby. It's like, well,
It's night and day.
yeah.
I get that there Kirby.
Yep. But Susie, what breaks her apart a little bit from Marks and Magalore is that she's a robot. You know, comes with the name Planet Robobot or whatever. But in like Kirby gets a mecha. I don't know if Susie gets a mecha. I think she pilots one at one point. I don't know. I didn't play the game.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I know she's a popular choice. Her popularity has probably dwindled a little bit since it's been a while since our game. We're getting a new Kirby game coming up, which I think will make her odds go lower. And there's also the fact that Sakurai has historically not put any recent Kirby content into Smash for whatever fucking reason. There's speculation,
Hubris.
but I don't know if any of that's true. But if we were going to get something modern Kirby, I think Susie is a pretty good choice. My personal pick is Marks because I think Marks is fucking awesome. But Susie, I think, would be able to bring her own unique spin on things to the table, especially if Sakurai's just like, yeah, put Susie in the mech. It's like, okay, cool, we have a fucking mech fighter now. So I think she's got some unique retail there. The only big detractors like Sakurai, are you going to put in recent Kirby content in Smash, or no, you still hate it? Okay, all right.
It's a shame, really.
Yeah. So, okay, shall I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it with the talking points. She's a likely character, only about as likely as several other Kirby characters, though. I think Smash 6 is ripe for another Kirby character.
Yeah, I agree.
If we retain Marks as a boss, because I mean he fits the boss role perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
On that boss is amazing. Although we see him as a playable character in Star Allies, we see where that can lead and how it can be adapted. Yeah,
so is Susie.
And Magalore and several others.
I just want to mention real quickly, God bless Kirby Star Allies. Some people may think the game is too simple and easy, but that game has made Smash research for a lot of Kirby characters so much easier. Thank you for that game existing and all the DLC characters that's brought us. Holy shit.
No
Love
kidding.
it. Eventually, I would like to play it instead of just having to watch videos of other people doing it to learn how these characters function.
I do think it's an easy enough game for you to play. So
Oh yeah,
might as well give it a try sometime. Yeah, I agree. But if we take Marks out of the picture, then I would say she's like a respectful second or third. Like there's just a lot on the same playing field. Like is vanity a factor after all the fan hype or whatever because of more recent Kirby stuff not getting in or this or that. Besides that, I mean, she would be cool. You put her in the mech. I mean, I think that's fairly obvious. I think her final boss fight was in a Robobot, and that involved a lot of Tron bonus like moves, where you're just crushing or people, or sending out sentinels, or using drills or drones. So there's work where there's cool stuff there, and Planet Robobot is a very neat, underrated Kirby game. So I would be supportive of her. Of course, support doesn't mean her chances are high.
true. What do you think, Kelly?
For Susie, I really like Susie. I like Planet Robobot in general. That's one of the most. What's that?
You don't want
Is
to
that-
see it.
Danny DeCito.
That's one sheet
Anyway.
I don't want to eat. I like Planet Robobot's probably my top 20 in my top 20. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the most nuanced Kirby games we've ever had. Maybe even the best in some people's eyes. It's hard. I don't know if it tops Superstar Ultra for me, but anyway, Susie's great. She's one of the high points of that game. Just thinking about what type of moves she'd have. I know in Star Allies, I don't really know. I haven't seen much footage of her, but I think, like you said, she's got her mech, and it makes you think about how she could represent maybe the mech portion, the mech side of Robobot. Like if regular Kirby is all about inhaling and copying the opponent's moves, what if Susie had something like a scan option so that she could incorporate the moves of those fighters into the mechs themselves? So, you get the sword mech from one character, you get the rock mech from another character, you get the laser mech or the fire mech. she'd have a lot of options.
Yeah.
That actually touches on something I wanted to talk about with Kirby just a bit here. Sakurai has said before that how not only Kirby is now one of the hardest characters to develop with each subsequent Smash game, because it's like, okay, we're adding in another character. We have to make a Kirby hat for it. We have to make sure that their special move is something Kirby can use. And I think at a certain point, Sakurai regretted giving Kirby the ability to absorb other characters' moves. I think if Smash were to happen now and Kirby was just being introduced for weird reasons, or if Kirby was getting like a major rework, it's very clear that he would just turn it into like, okay, Mario gives Kirby Fire Kirby, Link, Marth, they both give Kirby Sword.
A broader.
Yeah, like Pikachu would give him Beam or Plasma or whatever. Like it's very clear that he would just like dial that down a bit, if for anything but his own sanity.
That makes sense. Yeah, mechanically, it sounds very like a nightmare.
Yeah, I would not blame him if Smash 6 come around and Kirby loses the ability to have like the individual characters moves. Like, I get it. This makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Sure. It's either that or pare the roster even further back than we think.
20 characters. Let's go.
Okay, that's fine.
They're all Fire Emblem.
One of them. And one Pichu.
And Wii Fit Trainer.
Pichu has a sword.
There you
Yes. Pichu now makes an electric sword that comes out of his cheek sack.
Okay, I would like to pre-order this title.
Yes.
Game of the year.
Reinhardt gets excited.
Me too. Eloise as well.
So
Oh, no, go ahead.
So, my final thoughts for Susie here. A big part of it comes down to Sakurai either looking at or ignoring modern Kirby. If he looks at modern Kirby, I think Susie has a very strong chance. And I would actually think that she is, overall, one of the top 3 most likely Kirby characters to actually get into Smash at this point. What the order would be exactly, I don't know, but I think those 3 characters are Susie, Marks, and Bandanity. Beyond that, it's really hard to say. But those 3 they feel like the most... They feel like the most likely. I know a lot of people's... Whenever Marks is constantly brought up for Ultimate, people keep saying like, well, what about Magalore? It's like, I'm sorry, I look at Magalore and I don't see him being interesting at all. Just me personally here. Whereas Marks and Susie, I look at just their characters and it's just like, I see shit going on here. Magalore is just like, it's a marble dressed up as a clown.
He's pretty popular, though, right?
I'm sure that's also Marks. He has some popularity, yeah. Like, I know a lot of people defend Magalore and Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I personally just don't see it. I don't know. It's just me there. I think both these other 2 characters are far more interesting in their potential. But Susie, I think Susie's biggest plus is the mech. Whether they give her a unique mech for herself that she might use, or if they just give her Kirby's mech that he has in the game, just have her be piloting it. Either or, that's something that Smash doesn't have. Bowser Jr. kind of, sort of has a little bit of mech stuff, but the Planet Robot mech would be a lot more than that. And I think that's her biggest boon to her, and I'm actually going to give her 45%.
Wow.
It would be higher if we had any evidence of modern Kirby being put into Smash that Sakurai didn't work on.
Sure. Again, same train of thought. As we go further along the Smash train, it's going to become harder to justify not representing modern Kirby as the other Kirby games get older. So it may be the time we finally see Bandanity and just rip that Band-Aid off or whatever.
And instead we'll just get Nightmare.
I mean, I'm cool with that. That would be kind of awesome. But that aside, I mean, I agree with your points. I'm going to give her a slightly higher percentage again. I'll say 55.
Okay. Kelly, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, as much as I like Susie, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go significantly lower than both of your generous percentages. I feel like it's very hard, like you said, with modern Kirby and finding the true face of that. Like, I mean, Even Marks is like, as popular as he is and as long lasting as his presence has been, it's hard to nail him down as like the face of Kirby, even as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna use a really weird example here. Smash has always been very flavor of the year in a way.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
what's popular at the time will more likely make it in, but that's not always the case. You see things like, I'm gonna use a really weird example with the Zelda series, taking
Yeah.
into account how some people view their representation. Setting that aside, you can see things like Twilight Princess comes out. Oh, Midna's gonna be in. She isn't in. And then Skyward Sword gets out. Oh, Girahim's gonna come in. Is he in? No, he's not. And I feel like by the time that the next Kirby, the Forgotten Land, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like by the time that rolls around, people could arguably be already looking forward to the next one. And as great as phenomenal as Robobot was, I could see it being passed over in favor of something, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give Susie 15%.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Well, that's a little spicy, but
Perhaps.
it's hard to justify.
I mean, that's
I like
fair,
it.
though. Before I reveal the presents, something I wanted to comment on what that is. Smash both does flavor of the year, but also sometimes they do flavor of last year, and by that I mean like they will skip out on things that are like currently popular to do like the previous generation, and then sometimes currently popular stuff misses out on the next one. Like sometimes it gets added and sometimes it doesn't. Pokemon being a great example of that. We missed Hoenn for Smash. We missed Unova, and we missed Kayla, or no, we got Kayla, but we missed the Alola game, or no, well, fucking missed Sora, that's right. But we missed a couple of reasons I've gotten missed over. Rosalina, Super Mario Galaxy was very popular on the Wii, but she missed out on Brawl. But then within Smash 4, she came around, and we got her then. So some things will get added in right away. Some things skip a generation. Fire Emblem is also very strange about that sometimes.
There's cutoff points.
Yeah.
Sure. And before Susie gets into the Forgotten Land inexplicably.
And I mean, it's not like, I mean, Planet Robot, it is an older game at this point, but the most recent Kirby game, as of right now, Kirby Star Allies, or at least, mainline Kirby game, the platformers, does have Susie in it. So I feel like that still bumps her up, and everybody else has played one in that game, including Marks and Bandani and some
Rick
Spider,
Hyden-Koo.
Rick Hyden-Koo. Yeah, we've been trying to toy with that idea and how to make it work, and I'm confused on them.
It's very fluid. It's very fluid. It's not very rigid Kirby continuity.
Mm,
In a good way, like in the best way possible.
right.
I'm not sure.
Right.
All right. Well, our final score for Susie is going to come out 38.33%. So just barely below Travis. Just barely.
Very close.
All right. So our next character is going to be Leon Kennedy of the Resident Evil games.
Oh.
So the thing that makes... Here's the thing. Depending on what you believe with Resident Evil and with Smash speculation is there was a rumor a while back that a Resident Evil character was being worked on for Smash Ultimate and that they were going to be the 5th DLC character in the first Fighters Pass. But that something happened, either like talks between Capcom and Nintendo went dropped, or maybe Sakurai couldn't figure out how to do the character, or there was debates over which character to use, and whatever reason, Resident Evil got dropped and we got Byleth. Hard to say if any of that's true. We did end up getting some spirits from Resident Evil later on. But Resident Evil is one of Capcom's biggest franchises. Possibly even the biggest franchise that's not in Smash yet. Currently, we just have Mega Man and Street Fighter. So it makes sense. Do what?
I think it is their biggest. I forget if Monster Hunter is second.
Yeah, it's definitely between them. Personally, I prefer Phoenix Wright more, but, whatever. But Resident Evil stands a very strong chance of getting to Smash. I think the biggest problem is just going, which character? Because it could be Leon, it could be Chris, it could be Claire, it could be, what's her name? Jill, thank you. It could be Ada Wong, it could be Wesker, it could be any of them. It won't be Ethan Winters because he doesn't have a face. But... I think any of those other characters I mentioned, I think they all have a legitimate shot. It's just who gets in. They could do something where they just pull a Bowser Jr. and they're all in. They just share a moveset, which might be weird. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough to really judge that. But I kind of just picked Leon here because I know he is one of the popular choices, and well, unlike Chris, he doesn't just get roided up and punch boulders. But as far as any of those four characters between them being more popular than the other, I can't really speak to that. But I know Resident Evil itself is a huge series, and it's a little. It makes sense that they would be the next Capcom series to get in. Them or Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, I agree. From what I've seen, and I think we can take this into account too. Every series that has lasted as long as Resident Evil has, and Resident Evil being one of Capcom's top series, and certainly
Yeah.
one of the best-selling series
It's an
pretty much
oldie.
ever.
It's
in
what,
gaming.
2001,
Yeah,
I want to say?
right around there, right around there. Taking that into account, every series that lasts that long has
1996.
its holy cow.
Wow.
Here we are,
God damn.
26 years old. Nice. So, yeah, if a series lasts this long, it's going to end up having a magnum opus or two or whatever. Like for Zelda, it's arguably Ocarina of Time, or it's arguably more recently Breath of the Wild, Resident Evil. I think people really cling to a few of the titles, like Resident Evil 2 was very celebrated, but Resident Evil 4 broke barriers,
Mm-hmm.
and was tremendous uh, renovation of gameplay style, and cinematography, and in video games that we hadn't really seen up until that point, where we're navigating the 3D scape so quaggly before. I think that was a water bottle dropping. So the maze, they ditched the maze-like kind of entity of the previous titles for a more open and fluid gameplay, and Leon was the face of that. And they've perfected it. They've moved on towards arguably more interesting gameplay styles, certainly like with the Revelations titles, innovated with Resident Evil 7 and 8, with the first person. But I think 4 really hit in a way that the others have not, and kind of cannot, because it was representative of a breakthrough moment in gaming that I don't know if we're going to have anything like it again. So Leon, I think, is very talked about, and has a really solid shot amongst the other Resident Evil characters. Also, Chris Redfield got hit by the ugly stick in Resident Evil 7. So
He
we
gets-
should have him in the game.
He gets hit by the Ugg stick a couple times.
Yeah, he does. And Kelly, how about you? Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, it feels like, well, Resident Evil almost feels like it's separated into the pre-Resident Evil 4 time and the post-Resident Evil 4 time, and you can definitely feel the impact that 4 had on the whole series. Not all the games that followed the style 4 were winners, 6, but yeah, it's so I actually played 4 for the first time last year around Halloween, and my God, it's just as good as everybody says it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it almost feels like, back to what you were saying before about the protagonists, it almost feels like in a perfect world you could have all of them and they could all somehow function almost maybe the same, but I don't know, it's hard to tell, like, because Leon definitely feels like a contender for the face of the series, and seeing how he works and how he plays, and he's definitely in his prime in 4. That's his most iconic look is in 4. Later appearances, his personality suffers a bit, but that's not super important. But yeah, he's definitely much more of an action-oriented style, which I think would translate well, rather than the kind of tank control survival horror of the earlier games. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that speaking to that, he can represent the other titles through him, and this speaks true to other characters too. Give him a Resident Evil 2 outfit, a Resident Evil 4 one, a Resident Evil 6 one. Call it a day. Pretty fun. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 was a revolution.
Remember when it was a
So
game?
much so that even sorry.
Oh, just joking. But I was saying, do you remember when it was a GameCube exclusive? Remember
Yeah.
it was to stay a GameCube exclusive? and they're like, "No, this is selling way too much. We got to spread it out, get it on other consoles. Go, go, go!"
Yeah, those were the days.
All
Not to mention-
right.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention he got some pretty killer one-liners. Where's everybody going?
Those are
Bingo.
the others.
Sorry, go ahead.
Bingo.
So with Leon, as we mentioned, it's his biggest attractor is just like the sheer amount of other characters that you can choose to pick with him, and I think Leon of them all, I think it'd be really between Leon and Jill for the most likely to, because as far as I'm aware, those are the two more popular. And when the Dead by Daylight added Resident Evil into its game, they picked Nemesis as the killer, they picked Raccoon City Police Department as the map, and they added both Leon and Jill as the characters. And then each of them have special costumes where their model gets changed out for Chris or Claire. So they depending on the moveset that they give for a Resident Evil character, they could have the four of them all be in there, and then just like each of them gets one alt, similarly to how Kelly designed, as we'll talk about later, his Makoto Naegi moveset with having multiple characters from the series represented. But yeah, I think you could either do something like that, or you could just have Leon be playable, and then have like Jill be an echo fighter. Maybe they're echoes of each other, kind of much like how Simon and Richter Belmont are. There's a couple of different solutions that could go here, but I think Resident Evil has a strong chance just in general. My own big worry is choosing which of these 6 fucking characters to pick from. And with that in mind, I'm going to go for, because this is for Leon specifically himself and not just a Resident Evil rep, I'm going to say 50%.
Okay. Yeah. A Resident Evil character in general. And
Yeah, if it was Resident Evil in general,
Very-
I would bump this up to something like 70, 75. But being that it's
Agreed.
just Leon, I have to go a little bit lower.
Sure. And I think Jill has a good chance, and I would personally prefer Jill probably as an overall face of the series.
I would too.
Wesker would be amazing.
Yeah.
Probably third of the 3 as far as likeliness is concerned. That being said, I'm gonna go with my gut. I think that Leon, at this point in time, probably period, in my opinion, is the likeliest pick for being the cult pick. So I will give him 70%.
Okay, 70 for Leon. All right, Kelly, what do you think about that?
That's a pretty good number. I think Resident Evil is almost a shoo-in, just from how extremely popular it is. If they had to pick Leon specifically, I would say somewhere around the 40% range, probably 40%. He's very popular, justifies a conclusion. It depends on how far Capcom is willing to evolve their series, if they're going to keep Leon, or if they're going to bring him back. They probably are going to bring him back, I think. Let's be real. So yeah, I'd say 40.
7 and 8, yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
With that, Leon's average comes out to 53.33%.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
We got 2 more to go through here. Got some good discussion on these, longer than I thought we were going to have. So this next one, we're going to a franchise that's already in Smash, and that's Raiden of Metal Gear. Or Raiden, I don't know how it's said. I don't know much about this guy other than the fact that he's a cyborg ninja, and I believe he's the playable character for Rising, I think?
Yep, a Platinum Games game, too.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, that makes sense then, because they love their sword fighters running up and smashing things games. But I think I'm not a big Metal Gear Solid knowledge person. That's Jonno's, Eric's expertise between the two of us. My big point here is that we've got Metal Gear and Smash already. Not that this has stopped Street Fighter or Castlevania from getting more characters. But if we were to get another one from Metal Gear Solid or just Metal Gear in general, he feels like the pick because he's different than Big Boss and Liquid Snake and Solid Snake and That's just a lot of snakes. One of them's naked.
Sure.
I don't like it. I don't have much more to say other than that about Raiden.
Okay. Raiden is a very popular character. He comes from, again, kind of Metal Gear's big moment with Metal Gear Solid 2. Made his debut there as a foxhound soldier gone cybernetic experiment. So yes, he is in fact a cyborg ninja. First it was classed. Probably not the first cyborg ninja in a video game, period, because that seems pretty neat and tropish. Probably one in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game.
I mean, Gray Fox in Metal Gear is a cyborg ninja.
True.
It was the fucking. He's the assist trophy pick in Smash. It's like, what?
That was interesting. Him over Raiden. He could have had the same functionality. That being said, there's a fair amount we could do here. We're still hurting for a ninja archetype character that fits this specific swordplay area. Like we have Sheik and we have Greninja. Doesn't quite actually scratch the itch. Hayabusa is a very popular choice for that amongst the community. Representative from Tecmo too. I mean, if Tecmo's going to get a character, it's more than likely him. Yeah, so there's a lot here. If there's another Metal Gear character, it's going to be Raiden. I agree. And he's the secondary face of the series, I feel, besides Snake, as far as a playable character standpoint goes. His chances pretty much hinge on, do we want another Metal Gear character? Can we have another Metal Gear character? And that's the toss-up, given Konami's current place in gaming with pachinko machines and NFTs.
Yeah,
and,
fucking
has kind of missed the party too in Smash 4. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So there we go.
Well said, Jonno. Oh yeah. So wait, have you played Rising, Jonno?
Little bit. I sucked at it and quit.
I have Metal Gear on my list of series that I need to watch at some point. Right now, I've been going through the Devil May Cry games, and I watched Bayonetta recently, but eventually I'll finally learn what everything is about with Metal Gear.
So, Metal Gear Rising is not a good representation of the series as a whole. It's about as far removed as you can get in terms of gameplay. The rest of the games are about stealth, for the majority, and Rising is pretty much just hack and slash everything in the like super slow-mo power trip, basically. And it feels good. It's fun to play. It's a great game. It has awesome music. A few flaws, but overall very cool. So Raiden is interesting because he's got a spirit, one of the most powerful spirits, I think, in Smash Ultimate. Raiden always, if there was an award for best glow up, I think Raiden would take it. He started off as a bit, from what I understand, in Metal Gear Solid 2, he was a bit polarizing because a lot of people thought they'd be playing as Snake again, and then Raiden came into the picture, and you played as him for most of the game. But he really grew in 4, and especially Rising. His whole appearance changed, his whole demeanor changed, and he's very likable. He's serious, a bit edgy, but not like roll your eyes edgy. You kind of understand and level with him. What was I gonna say? One of the big elephants in the room is that he already is playable in another certain Smash-like game.
PlayStation All-Stars.
All-Stars, yes. And so I'm sure there could be a lot of similarities and also differences from what they could take based on how they portrayed him there. But ignoring that and ignoring Konami, the state of Konami, he'd be pretty cool to see. He'd be very good at like countering and doing like precision, slow down stuff, re-energizing himself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically like a roller coaster. His game. It's very interesting.
All about the Zunduts.
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely. If Metal Gear was going to get a second rep, I'd say it would definitely go to Raiden.
I think he's the clearer pick for a second choice from Metal Gear. Not only does he fight differently, but he kind of represents a different style in the Metal Gear franchises. Like, I know I talk about a lot how I wish Smash would not focus so much on giving multiple characters to the same third-party franchise and just like do more third-party franchises. And to be fair, we've only had a little bit of them double dipping like that with Ken and Rio, and then Simon and Richter. But oh right, Sephiroth. Forgot about fucking Sephiroth. No, not only the same franchise, but the same game.
Mhm.
It was a package deal.
Yeah, I firmly
There you go.
believe it was. It absolutely was as part of the deal, getting Cloud in base game. Come on, but I feel like it's more okay for me if it's like, okay, sure, two characters in the same franchise, but like different parts of the franchise. Like if we got a second Mega Man character, it was Zero, representing the Mega Man X and the Mega Man Zero games, in addition to Classic Mega Man. It was like, okay, sure, that's fine. Raiden, I don't know if Rising and whatever his other content is enough different from Metal Gear Solid, because again, I just don't have that knowledge. But for me, well, he would be a different fighter with Snake, which is very nice to have, and he's a clear second choice from the franchise. The fact that there are other cyborg ninjas that he's or even just other ninja characters with swords that he's kind of in contention with, being, Hayabusa being probably the most likely of all of them. That's a big factor in me just lowering his chances out, and I'm just going to say 10%.
Mm.
Second Metal Gear pick, Konami's current position in the gaming industry. The fact that Kojima's not with them anymore, and other ninjas that are in competition, it's a low percent for me.
Fair.
Right. I concur. And to Kelly's point with PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale as well, Heihachi's in PSA VR, and he's not in Smash. So
True.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of an old game. I don't think its influence is going to last forever and ever and ever. But you know,
I really doubt that was the reason why they didn't pick Heihachi. But
I mean, Kazuya is generally more interesting, I think. But yeah,
like,
so,
if it came up at all, I think it would be Sakurai just saying he doesn't want people to compare the two versions and say one is better than the other, because that sounds like a very Sakurai thing to do.
it's like Sakurai. No one even cares about this game anymore. Only you're comparing them. So
Again, that's a Sakurai thing to do.
Yep. No, I agree with you, Lister. As we do have a second Metal Gear character already in Smash, being Yoshi. However, Raiden.
You know what you did there. Yeah. So, do you want to explain the joke?
You mean Metal Gear Rex?
Yeah,
Because Rex
Metal
is
Gear
in
Solid,
Smash?
3D. Metal Gear Solid 3D Snake Eater on the 3DS. You shoot little collectible Yoshi figurines throughout the game, and you get a little prize at the end.
It's because they replace, in the normal game, there's like these lizards. I forget what their name they are, but in the 3DS version, the lizards are all replaced with Yoshi dolls.
This is
Yeah.
violence against Yoshi, and I will not stand for it.
No, he just kind of spins around when you shoot him, and he goes, "Rrrr."
Exactly. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Never thought of
Thank
that
you.
way.
Yeah, right in 15%.
All right. Kelly, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's one of those. I think there was one time where I thought this is so crazy it just might work, but I don't know. It's hard to say. If we're ignoring all the stuff like all the contingencies that or hangups that Konami has just in a vacuum, I would want to give it something like 25%. But with all those in mind, I would say 15% as well.
Okay. With that said, our overall rating is 13.33% for Raiden.
Still not the lowest, so we'll give him that.
Not the lowest, but he does hit the second lowest.
Sorry, Jack.
All right, so we got one more to go. This one is another character that, Kelly, you have made on the Smashtopia Wiki.
Oh, baby.
Oh, no way.
And, I would have considered them for today's Smash Test, but we've already covered them in a previous episode, so they were kind of out of the running. But I figured they can go and rate their chances, and that is Shantae, the half-genie hero
boy.
herself. All right.
I feel like I'm having an influence on this or something.
Gee,
okay,
I
why?
wonder why. All right, so Shantae, we've got our first indie rip that we discussed here on Rate Their Chances. Personally, for me, I know a lot of people always say Shovel Knight as being the most likely indie character. What personally, I think Steve kind of counts that. Before Microsoft bought them, he absolutely counted it with Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's arguable if he still would be considered indie because Microsoft now owns Mojang, but yeah, whatever. But as for like other characters, the debate that I always see is Shovel Knight and Shantae. Personally, I think Shantae has better chances than Shovel Knight at the very least. She has more history, for one thing. She has several more games than Shovel Knight does. Well, actually, Shovel Knight just makes a new game, but just becomes part of the original game. Shantae's been around a lot longer. She's had some games with Capcom. They've worked on some of the games with her, but it's all been with Way Forward, and she's still getting new games. The last one was about the Sirens. I don't remember exactly what it was called. The seven Sirens. Seven Sirens was that one. I don't think that one was quite as popular. I know Half Genie Hero was pretty well liked, but
I still need to play Seven Sirens. I played Half Genie Hero. It was not bad, but the best one that I think generally the community likes the most is Pirate's Curse.
Riskies. Oh, Pirate's Curse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pirate's Curse is pretty good for everything I know about it. But I mean, Shantae's got a lot of stuff to her. She's got her transformations into other animals. She's got genie magic beyond that. She has pirate gear that she used when she temporarily lost her powers. So she has a lot to her that they could do with her on. It's just indie characters getting in. Will they? We've have a Shovel Knight assist trophy, and then we've had some indie characters that got some from me costumes like Sans. But will any of them become playable someday? That's the biggest hurdle here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Shantae does have an assist trophy as well as a spirit. So there's
She does not have an assist trophy.
Me
Oh,
costume
I'm sorry, me costume.
There you go.
and a song.
Yeah.
I forgot
And
that
a song. That's true.
I forgot she had a song.
Burning Town. Bam,
I mean, it's a damn good one. It's the Shantae song.
Absolutely. Remix it every time. It's always
there you go. Yeah, as far as indie characters are concerned, she has going on 20 years of history with Way Forward. Way Forward being a major player in the indie scene.
Yeah, they've been around a long time.
They've
made a lot of games.
Yeah, they have. So, yeah, I agree. I think that Shovel Knight has decent popularity. I mean, as evidenced by the assist trophy, and he could be playable too in the next Smash. Fairly likely, at the very least, among the indie characters. Shantae and him representing the upper crust. Yeah, the debate comes down to an indie character. But whether we're going to have him in Smash or not, if we did, I do think it would be her. The aesthetic fits perfectly with the Prime Nintendo cut. Multiple games have been on Nintendo systems, primarily Nintendo Build. Debuted on the Game Boy. There's a lot there, and it'd just be a really cool character to have with the transformations and different magic, and she can also whip her hair back and forth.
That she can.
Talk about power.
Her hips don't lie.
That's true too. We have something in common. So, with that being said, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts.
Pretty much
Kelly.
covered my thoughts perfectly, Jonno. She's definitely a character that I think fits the description of honorary Nintendo character. Like, she's been mostly exclusive. Actually, no, she's on Steam. But yeah, for quite a long.
Steam doesn't count. It's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo is where it counts. If it's Steam, that's outside the console wars.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think the biggest problem is that there's so much to do with her that it's a hard time to narrow down which one specifically. You could make the case that the original Game Boy Color game is like what I know Sakurai likes to kind of take a lot of inspiration from a character's original outing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could try to streamline her like that if you wanted. The indie thing is also the biggest attractor, so that's always a big elephant in the room, so to speak, because she can transform into an elephant. But yeah, if there was going to be any indie character who would make it in, I think it would be her. With apologies to Shovel Knight.
Yeah, I'm sure we're pissing off a lot of Shovel Knight fans when we're saying that she's more likely. But it's like, hey, I mean,
Just
you
from a
have your
historical,
opinion, we have ours.
just from a historical standpoint, I suppose
Yeah.
you could. She's had more influence.
Sure.
And I also just checked
Although-
here real quickly. The original Shantae was Game Boy Color, and then Risky's Revenge was DSiWare and
Mhm.
iOS.
Yeah, I played the iOS one.
And then each of the ones after that have been multi-platform.
Right.
There you go.
But I also discovered another very small point in Shantae's favor. What company is working on the remakes for Advance Wars? It's Way Forward.
Data design and yeah.
They
all
got their foot in the door for Nintendo.
There you go. There you go.
It feels like one of those moments where like it doesn't happen until it does, and it's like, oh well, now you've broken new ground with this
Yeah.
indie platform getting in. So there you go.
And Sakurai has loved crushing fan roles.
Yes. that
So,
is
I
true.
mean, we got fucking Cloud. We got fucking Sephiroth. Steve. Sora. Indie is one of the few barriers left to break through. And I think Shantae has a good chance for it. I think my rating, I don't know, I feel like I might be being too generous with this one. But I am going to go with 20% just because, like, yes, there's a fuck ton of indies, and it's a question of, like, could an indie get in? But if an indie does get in, it's Shantae or Shovel Knight. Well, I've actually... Sakurai's friends with Toby Fox. I don't know.
Could be.
I'm gonna go with
Could
20%
be
though.
$3. That is fair. That's fair. Gosh, I could easily see a Smash where she's in.
Mhm.
And I can just as easily see.
She
a Smash
fit
where
the
she's in.
environment
It's
so
the
easily,
action.
but her and Shovel Knight would both fit the
Yeah.
environment very well.
Perfectly, yeah. And of the two, I mean, they represent the upper crust. If one's more likely than the other, it's by a just a small percentile. So I was getting high off it. If we were saying indies in, her chances would be up there. Considering all the factors, I will again just kind of continue my trend of agreeing with Lister while being a little more generous. I'll say 32%.
All right, 32%. Kelly, what about you?
Wow, this is another case of like really disproportionate from what you guys both decided. I was gonna say 65%.
Okay.
But the reason because I feel like, oh man, it seems crazy, but I think Nintendo really Nintendo, Sakurai, whoever is the person that we're talking about. I feel like with Shantae it was neat because even as far back as the first trailer for World of Light, you could see just that split second of like, oh, Shantae's a spirit. I know it's not what you wanted, but it's a consolation prize. But we hear you. We know you wanted her in. And then later down the line, she gets a Mii costume and a song, and it's still there. And it's just like, and yeah, with the way forward, Seven Sirens, Advance Wars, just that it's another one of those always in the peripheral vision. And if there was ever going to be one indie character, like if just as a rule they actually ended up doing it, I could see her definitely getting in, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe, potentially. So
I see that.
I'll say 60%.
60%. Okay.
I mean, and the environment for indies has really
It has
changed for Nintendo. Comparing it back to the the Wii days compared to now is immense. A huge difference.
They got their Nindy Directs.
Yeah, it's a total 180 compared to how Nintendo used to act towards companies like this.
No kidding. All right,
It
so
is.
with Shantae getting a 20, 32, and 60% rating, that averages out to 37.33% chance. And when we add all the characters into our, along with everybody else that we've done so far, Raiden joins the bottom five. It actually ranks in at number 14 out of 50 out of 15 with 13.33 overall. And Leon hits number 3 of the entire list with his 53.33% chance. Only Alf and Dixie Kong we have given higher ratings for than Leon Kennedy. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out as we go further through this season of the podcast.
Interesting.
It will be.
Well done, Leon.
Cool. Yeah, well met, my friend.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got some good discussion out of that. This actually lasted quite a bit longer than it did the last 2 episodes we had our rate their chances. So wow to all of that. But with that, we will now go ahead and get into the main topic of discussion here, even though we've already gone through over an hour with this, which holy shit, guys. Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Whoops.
So, our first smash or dash matchup is going to be between the lucky or unlucky student himself, Makoto Naegi, versus the Serpent Supreme, Derek Stiles. So, Kelly, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Derek?
Right. So Derek Stiles, he is a surgeon. He starts off as a pretty regular surgeon working at a place called Hope Hospital, but he was transferred to Caduceus, USA. And so in universe, Caduceus is like the super hospital that, like, you know, technology's advanced so they can cure any disease, basically. He finds out that he possesses an ability called the Healing Touch, which lets him operate at a speed beyond any normal human could ever do. He's assisted by Angie Thompson, a nurse who basically keeps him in line because he gets a bit of hubris at first and almost costs him a patient's life, so he reels himself in. And all this is happening while there's bioterrorists in the background trying to spread super cancer called guilt. So it makes for an interesting everyday Atlas story.
You know, this
He's
matchup,
a cool character.
this matchup is more perfect than I thought it was. Because I picked these 2 characters, just like, oh, you know, this seems like that they could kind of work pretty well together. But we have Derek, who formerly of Hope Hospital, fighting a disease called guilt.
Yes.
Whereas Makoto Naegi goes to a school called Hope Peak Academy, where he has to deal with a worldwide pandemic of sorts, where everybody is just falling to despair, and it's more or less a disease there as well. Which
well,
kind of an interesting comparison that we have here with these 2. But Makoto's whole deal is essentially there's a school in Japan called, you know, again, Hope Peak Academy that only invites the best of the best, ultimate students, or those whose abilities are super high school level, if you will, such as the ultimate swimmer, the ultimate martial artist, the ultimate fashionista, the ultimate, I was trying to think of another one, the ultimate pop star idol. And then we have young Makoto here. Young Makoto, whose talent is known only for being lucky. He got into the school by random draw. And not only that, but technically, I found this out, the first person, he's actually the second name that they drew. The first one never got their letter. It burned up. And so they're just like, well, if they didn't get their letter, they must not be lucky enough. Let's draw again. And that's how Makoto got in. And the whole thing with Makoto's journey in his games is, hey, we're locked in a school. Oh, that's not good. Oh, we're told to kill each other. Oh, that's really not good. And you have to solve who done it several times, while Makoto is firing metaphorical bullets of truth to help uncover all the mysteries. Quite a lot goes on in those games.
Wow.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. Holy moly.
So we have 2 characters here who are very much not fighters. A guy who is so... God, his luck just swings back and forth sometimes. Like he's lost his own shoe in his official character art versus a fucking surgeon.
It makes you think.
It does.
It does.
It does a lot. I mean, I can definitely see how something like Derek Stiles could become a fighter in a game like Smash. I mean, hey, got a scalpel, stab a bitch. Hey, we got the heart defibrillator, shock a bitch.
The medical board will be notified for these actions.
Well, the medical
will lose
board
their
is
license.
about to get stabbed and shocked, so they better back off if they know what's good for them. So he's got that. I mean, and you also mentioned the healing touch, so he could use that to heal himself. And you made movesets for all these 4 characters as we mentioned before. which I'm sure we'll get you to touch on. I'm just going over some basic generalities with them to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be able to do things like that. Makoto, he can fire spectral looking bullets made out of energy that are just like the
Yeah.
truth that get fired. It's kind of an odd one for me to just envision.
It's a bit of a creative liberty, yeah. Like he's
Yeah,
not
like it's
actually
not
shooting
really
bullets.
bullets, just
I think it's a visualization of his logic, I suppose. But
yeah. It's an aesthetic choice that works really well in the game. It's just when I saw it happen, I'm just like, so how does the gun thing make sense? Oh, it's just he's just pretending to shoot people. Oh, all right. And then the second game, well, he's not the protagonist in the second game. But we have Truth Blades, so he could do something similar to that. He could just have like some kind of sword-based attack with there. He could have attacks that kind of remind me of Phoenix Wright in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They're kind of just like accidental things. He says like he trips over his own feet because he had a loose shoelace. That could be his dash attack, so he just trips and hits somebody. I could see them doing something like that just for the fun of it. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
fighting without fighting.
Mm-hmm. There's gifts galore, presents that you can hand out to people when you're making friends with them. Just throw a random item. Sometimes it's a school button. Sometimes it's a bomb. Who knows? We don't. It's you get it from a fucking gotcha machine. Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
I think
They-
that's a
I'd
neat.
like to note too. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, John.
Oh, I'd like to note too that in Kelly's moveset, Makoto does give a present as a side special, and there are 50 options.
Again, ignoring like programming logistics because this is Smashtopia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We ignore logistics a lot. Sometimes we try not to ignore them, but it's in some cases just like it works this way. Don't ask me how it works this way. Just we want it to work this way. We're not developers, so we don't have to make it work.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just think that Smash has a great appeal for taking characters who aren't traditionally known for fighting, like the Wii Fit Trainer, Rob the Robot, and just making
Yep.
them very creative.
I love when people make the argument. It's like, well, how could this character fight? They're not a fighter. It's like, dude, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Falcon, Zelda,
Yep.
Wii Fit
Mhm.
Trainer, Duck Hunt Dog. There's a lot of non-fighters in Smash.
Villager.
I saw
Mhm.
when I also made a character movies for Monokuma, also the Naked Rampa games, and I was looking some stuff up just to do some research. I saw some of these things like, well, how would they fight? Like, I guess they could do things from the other types of Monokuma from the Ultra Despair Girls game, but what would he do? It's like, you're a fucking idiot. There's a shit ton that bear can do. Just think.
I think it's less important to focus on how realistic it would be, and more important to think about the constraints and the rules established by the game's world,
Hmm.
and take the influence from those.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun coming up with my moves for that character.
Gungnir.
Gungnir. Oh, I had to have Gungnir. Come on. That was the number one most required thing.
No spoilers.
Oh, yeah. All people know is the word Gungnir. You can Google that word if you want, but that's not going to tell you shit.
Yeah.
Play the games. Play the game, or play or watch my playthroughs. Select Start Gaming. Go. The second game is finished uploading on the story, so hey.
There's the plug.
Actually, I think by the time this goes up, the whole second game will be up by now. So, excellent.
Nice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Kelly. So we do have a good base for Makoto. How about Derek Stiles in your Smashtopia moveset? I know that we kind of it's his signature move. We kind of have to have healing touch. And I see here that you have his various surgical tools as well. So what kind of when you were approaching the Derek moveset, what excited you the most about it? What was your what kind of tootled your oodles, as they say?
Yeah, so I think this wasn't really what was going through my mind back then, but now I'm thinking like someone like Kazuya, how he's got 1,000,001 standard moves like tilts, and he's kind of got like 8 moves for just the way he tilts the stick in 8 directions. This almost kind of works for Derek, but he's got 8 neutral specials instead of just 1. And it's kind of neat because it's a bit like Shulk's. Except there's 8 instead of 5, and there's no cooldown, so you can basically just choose whatever tool you need at whatever moment. That was kind of what I was hoping, just to have a very flexible tool, literal toolkit and making and finding creative ways to adapt to the surgery tools, like having the sutures kind of bind somebody in place, having the drain constantly draining their health, things like that, just to kind of give little creative interpretations of each surgical tool.
Right. Yeah, and it's its own unique archetype. We see it vaguely represented through like this is a real world athletic trainer, basically, a fit trainer, or a real world strange sociopathic child from a village of animals. That sort of lifestyle kind of characters. That so and for what we say, we can have a lawyer in Smash, we can have a doctor in Smash. Doesn't really encapsulate. Besides Dr. Mario, who plays like Mario with puzzle elements,
Yeah.
we don't have a doctor in Smash. We don't have a lawyer in Smash. We don't have a puzzle-solving professor in Smash.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot. There's still room for it, and it would be quite interesting.
Oh yeah, I would love for Smash to delve a little bit more in some of those weirder categories, but for characters that are still popular that could do well with it. Derek is a great choice.
Yep.
Layton is a great choice. Phoenix Wright is a great choice.
The everyday heroes.
Like, not everybody needs to be a buffed out fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
give us more Steves.
Yes, everyday layman's terms.
Absolutely. Yeah, if we can have Kazuya, Ryu, Ken, Terry, we can have Dr. Mario, Derek, Dr. Dolphin,
Dr. Link,
Dr. Link, Dr. Goomba Stack.
Dr. Goomba.
They can all be a part of it.
Oh my goodness.
And that's where Makoto. I mean, we already have in Kelly's moveset 3 other students built into it. So There you go with that as well.
They all have a similar posture, thankfully. So
yeah,
there you go.
It's wish fulfillment to the max.
Right. Speaking to it, it's difficult. These characters have more in common than you'd think underneath the wraps.
For sure.
And as well, I mean, in the moveset makeup as well that Kelly presents us here, which is a pretty good basis to go off of. Like Makoto and Derek do have a lot of RNG in their moveset, per se. Derek less so, because you have the choice more like a Minato arts and the extra skill where you're pulling out an antibiotic gel, syringe, sutures, drain, laser, ultrasound, whatever. And Makoto, I mean, you have this big looming thing of it would be so interesting to see a character who can just pull out 50 presents.
It's like Metroid.
And yeah.
For his neutral special, he has a gun finger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Finger guns.
And you thought Joker's toy gun was saying something. So I mean, yeah, and there you go. You get a strange dash of the supernatural. A few pandemic era diseases. I mean, we've all been there and done that at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's different.
Oh. Yeah, it does. It does. Interesting. I mean, I like both of these series. I've kept up with Danganronpa a little bit through Select Start Gaming, and I've played the Trauma Center games, most of them.
Oh, nice.
So this is difficult.
Well, does anybody have any particular leans on which character they would put into Smash over the other?
How about you, Kelly?
Well, that's a tough one. I guess it depends on how you approach each one. Like I've played Danganronpa 1 and 2. I haven't played any of the Trauma Center games. I've watched a lot of footage of Trauma Team in particular, and
great game.
It's popular, but it's not popular on the level of Danganronpa. It's its own beast for sure. If it were strictly like the IP that I wanted represented, I would want it to be Danganronpa. But in terms of the game, like going from the movesets I tried making, I want it to be Derek, just from a gameplay perspective. And I think that's where I'm partially leaning. Just if we were going purely from a gameplay perspective, Makoto would be a bag of fun stuff. Like he'd be throwing out underwear left and right, shooting people with his bullets, shooting eyes. But Derek would be like such a crazy ride with like all the different tools he has and all the shenanigans he can pull off. It's tough, but I think I'm leaning slightly towards Derek.
Okay.
And
As
Atlas, just make it on Switch. I mean, it's perfect for it.
For real, Joy-Cons?
Atlas is
perfect.
very weird about what games they'll put where, it seems. Like, I don't know what is their deal half the time. It's like, guys, why are you not putting more games on Steam? First of all, what the fuck? Golden sold like crazy. Put
Yeah,
more.
really. I should tell them something, but
They're weirdos sometimes.
don't they keep putting out like a survey? Not to get off topic, but don't they keep
They
putting out like
they have. I took the survey at one point. I was basically just like, put it all on Steam, you cowards. People, you want money? Put on Steam, okay? And don't do an exclusivity deal with Epic. I swear to fucking God. I'm tired of these exclusive deals that Epic is getting. Go fuck yourselves.
really?
Introducing Derek Stiles in Fortnite
I mean, I don't care about that.
Oh man, you joke, but
alongside Big Chungus.
at this point, nothing would surprise me anymore.
No.
But yeah.
As my lean for these two is probably very obvious. One of these games, one of these characters in their series, I got sucked into after seeing several people, including Kelly, talk about them in communities that I'm a part of. And one friend in particular going was like, "Hey, if you play it, I'll go on and I'll be in the recording with you and do." And I was like, "Okay, cool. That means half the voices I don't have to do, and I have somebody to bounce shit off of." Fuck yes. Thank you, Kurt Walker.
Those voices.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's
Some of the voices are a lot more fun than others.
freaking.
Man. But my lean is very, very heavy towards Makoto and Danganronpa. Even if it wasn't Makoto necessarily himself, it was just like, I don't know, Danganronpa character being no one of the protagonists, or Monokuma himself, his sister from Ultra Despair Girls, which I have some ideas for. Get there eventually. I just think there's a lot of fun that can be had with that character. The series is very popular in Japan. Just having this ordinary high school kid whose only claim to fame is being lucky and being really good at giving speeches. That's really what he's good at. You know, he has decent investigative quality as well. He's no detective. Or at least he's not like a super detective, but he's not bad at it. So he's got all that going for him. He's a fun character. He's come from fun games that also are very terrifying. I just like, a doctor would be cool. Don't get me wrong. Having a character that like, I just have a scalpel and just like stab. I fucking love that shit. But I got sucked into these games.
The aesthetics are very strong.
They are, and all the blood is pink.
Pepto-Bismol.
I was very confused when I saw blood for the first time in the game. It's like, why is it pink? It's really off.
It's to keep the rating off of like, what is it, Zero Z or whatever. I suppose it's something like that. But I guess it's also
How is the rest of the game's content not putting it at the high ratings? What the fuck?
I guess it's the camera angles and implications and what you don't see. That your mind fills in the gaps.
I guess.
You know, sometimes that is more terrifying than just showing it.
Zero Escape,
That's fair.
especially.
Oh Lord, yeah.
That could be another topic on its own.
Sunsoft is good at what they do. They're very precise. It's difficult. I have a passing knowledge of Danganronpa because of Lister series, as well as some of our other friends who've streamed it in the past. And it's a very, very specifically flashy and entertaining and gruesome series. And it fits a niche, and it's very fun and disturbing. And Kelly's movesets for both Derek and Makoto perfectly encapsulate the characters in the games. There's some of my favorite movesets from Kelly. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want a surgeon with a certain magical property, or do you want one lucky boy? And that's pretty much
Who would win?
Yeah.
Fair.
Uh-huh. And that's what we're getting down to. And there's some similarities, like even with Usami carrying Makoto for the up special, or
Fucking
Derek
Usami.
having the wings of Caduceus for his up special. I mean, it's or wings of Hermes rather. There's similarities there. So, and then healing touch, is present. Truth bullets and lie bullets are present. So we're getting to the crux of the titles. I really enjoyed the Trauma Center games during their time of the sun, while also acknowledging that time is, for whatever reason, currently over. When it's so obvious. It's so obvious.
This would have been a perfect time to do a new Trauma Center game. Come on, look at the world right now. It would have been so perfect.
Oh yeah.
Trauma 19. So.
I play games to escape reality. Thank you.
Trauma
There you
Center
go.
Worldwide
Let's sell.
Pandemic. That's the subtitle.
You might be onto something there.
There you go. So I'm not saying it's my vote, but my lean currently in the present discussion, because I enjoy these movesets a lot, is going to lean into more personal bias. And because I played Trauma Center, my lean is Derek.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right.
That's a tough.
Okay, Shantae, you have the floor. How do you change our minds?
I changed your minds by saying, play the games! That's how I change your minds. I mean, it's hard to say, like, in terms of moveset potential between these two characters, it's hard to really say why one could be better than the other, because both of these characters and our next two characters as well are not your typical fighters. I guess you consider one of the next two sort of can fit in that vein, but these two are very much just like, they're guys. They're the guys that live their life. One of them is a doctor, so he heals, he stitches people up, he performs surgeries on them, and the other one is just like, I'm caught in a terrible situation. I have to try and stop my friends from killing each other. Oh, I failed at that. I have to try and figure out who killed my friend. Again, and again, and again, and it gets very sad and disturbing and at times despairful. But there's a lot of just about anything that you could think of, like these characters could do for Smash, you're inventing it. They are very much open slates for you to just have fun and play around with, just come up with something unique for. Kelly has done 2 very good movesets for both these characters, and other people could do, like it was Sakurai could do something completely different, but it's still going to be very much out there. It's all invented, and sometimes those are the best movesets. Ones that you don't have a whole lot of direct material to pull from to try and create something. It's ones where you have to really think outside the box for. Both these characters would be that, which is something I would personally love to see. For me personally, this one comes down a lot to the personal bias of Makoto Naegi. If I was to take that out, and I'm just looking at like what they could do moveset wise, Derek and his doctor abilities does come up very strong, because I mean that's just a fun thing to think about, a doctor fighting people, and again using a scalpel to slice you the fuck open. But I also like the idea of a character like Makoto, where you can lean heavily on the whole luck aspect and have them do things where they take a tumble and they run into somebody, or they just happen to like duck down to tie their shoes and they evade an attack or something. I don't know where they all come into a moveset. This is just like his crouch animation is just going down to tie his shoes or something. I don't know. Or maybe he has a taunt that just like he does that and it's lets him get out of an attack or something. Maybe, I don't know. But I love that aspect, just like leading hard into accidentals. That's something I love about Phoenix Wright's basic attacks in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Every character has an attack where they perform it and their opponent gets a launch type in the air. Phoenix's version of this is he sneezes at them.
It's true.
I fucking love it. He sneezes down at their feet and they go flying up in the air. It's great. I love that shit. And that's really what it would come down to me between these two characters. If I'm taking out any biases, it's Makoto's luck nonsense is this wild thing you can do with it, versus the idea of a doctor is stabbing Mario and sending him flying. What? I would probably still lean the luck nonsense just because I love that idea so much, and there are other doctors out there that you could put into Smash. But that's really where I sit with things.
Yeah.
Well spoken.
Eric also has the aspect of, oh my goodness, you made Ninja Bread Man have a code blue. Oh my god, how the tables have turned on the brick oven. Yeah, I mean the moveset possibility is definitely there with Makoto, and I think that's the strongest argument, regardless, for both of these characters. And it is difficult. It is a difficult choice. For someone on the fence, for sure. We shall see. I think we're getting to a vote soon, and at this point, I could go either way. I wouldn't say my bias is strong either way. So it might hinge on these last couple notes between the rest of us.
Kelly, what do you think?
Why do we have to choose, man?
Because I knew it'd be a good matchup.
You know what I think would be a funny trailer for Makoto would be like just the beginning of the game where it's like, I received this invitation, but not to the school. It would be to Smash. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I should start by introducing myself, and then go from there. It basically writes itself. And yeah, the style of Danganronpa and the trademark aesthetics of it is really what sells it. You can do stylistically, you could do so much with it. So that's really what it comes down to. Like Makoto for me is the style, and Derek for me is the mechanics. And it's just tearing me apart.
I know.
I know. I feel like
I think Lister's vote is Makoto, regardless, if I'm not mistaken.
I am very hard towards Makoto lean on this one.
Okay.
And I hate to put you both on the spot, but we are at a point where we need to make a decision on this matchup.
Okay, who's going first, me or Kelly? You can decide, Game Master.
It sounded like Kelly was reaching a decision, if I'm understanding correctly, before I interrupted.
Okay. Oh man.
This moment reminds me of another puzzle.
Yeah. I suppose you know what? I suppose if we're factoring in the whole what they bring to the table, Atlas already has a character. Spike Chunsoft does not. If we're also factoring in the other protagonists, Hajime, Kaede, and Shuichi, and the perjury skill, I don't think we covered that yet. I guess it really just depends on what each character brings, and I think Derek has a stronger move pool, but Makoto and company have a stronger stylistics. And I guess in Smash, the style would really be more pronounced. So I think instead, actually, I'll switch to Makoto.
All right.
But it's really tough. It's really tough because it's really just a matter of.
No, I believe it. Yeah.
In terms of reaction, what would blow me away, I'd be like, I'm more familiar with Danganronpa anyway, so I guess I'll side with Makoto on this one.
All right.
You could say by that turn heel from Kelly that Makoto's luck saved the day.
It's a lucky boy.
Really hard though. It's really tough.
This is like a 51, 49%. I've enjoyed Trauma Center, but it's not like a major series in my life. I will just toss Derek a vote. We're knowing where this is going, but I think he's too good of a character to leave it at a 3-0. So
Fair enough.
It'd be like Dr. Joker. It'd be like a Joker Echo, but he's slower, hits harder. Wears a lab coat.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, it's done before.
You easily could. Maybe some of that gel he uses could be a reflector now. Kill me.
He doesn't summon Arsene. He just summons Angie, and she just shouts at me.
There you go.
Dr. Stiles, the vitals.
It's kind of a Phoenix and Maya relationship.
It basically is. Yeah.
It's fun. It's interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we have a 2-1. Makoto wins this matchup, and we will see him again at the end of this season's Tournament of Champions. But our next matchup is between one guy who had a really bad day, Conker, against Death? Manny Calavera, a Grim Reaper. Kelly,
Sweet baby.
tell me more about these two.
Right. Well, so Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's a name that a lot of people who know Rare know. Conker was originally supposed to be a very, E for everyone type of game. He made his first appearance actually in Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. And his own game, I think it was called Conker's 12 Tales or something to that effect, was canceled in favor of basically rehashing it into a more raunchy M-rated adventure. And it basically rips on everything, like from Jaws to the Wizard of Oz to the Terminator to the Matrix, everything. Like there's nothing is safe. So Conker gets he gets smashed. He's hungover and then he loses his way on the way home, and that's what starts this whole adventure. And a lot of crazy stuff happens. And it's like most of the game is like very comedy and off the cuff, but it has a surprisingly and staggeringly sad and dark ending, which kind of I think makes the rest of the game, or the rest of the game doesn't prepare you for, and it kind of hits all the more harder for that. So that's Conker in a nutshell. And then so Manny Calavera, this is from LucasArts game Double Fine produced a game called Grim Fandango, 3D point and click adventure, starring the Day of the Dead, or the Land of the Land of the Dead. And it's very interesting. It's very creative. It's very, very wacky, very witty writing. It's got some very good jokes and humor. Basically, Manny Calavera, he's working off time as a salesman. He's a reaper, which means he guides newly departed souls and tries to sell them travel tickets. Because everybody in the Land of the Dead stays dead for 4 years before they move on to eternal rest. So basically, he's trying to atone for some unknown sin he committed in life. But he finds out there's a lot of corruption and a lot of unfairness happening in his Department of Death job. And he finds this whole revolution is happening in the background against this conspiracy, which drags him over the course of 4 years as he tries to find Meche Colomar, who he tried to get a ticket for onto the number 9 train, which is the best way to get to the Land of Eternal Rest. But he messed up somehow, and there's a reason for that. So he's trying to track her down, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. And I'm doing a very poor job at explaining this, I think. But that's the broad strokes. And it's also got pretty swanky bebop music soundtrack, so that's a bonus too.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this time around, we have two serious wisecrackers this time around, who both go on a journey of discovery, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do love both these characters' backgrounds. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say another funny thing is that, or coincidence, is that Conker has actually died, but he's been brought back to life because he's a squirrel, and he actually did meet a Grim Reaper named Greg, a very short Grim Reaper, and he's very high-pitched voice, but he explains to Conker that he basically has a set of chances, which are the extra lives that you find scattered around. So the first time you die in Conker's Bad Fur Day, you basically meet Greg in a cutscene, and it's kind of funny that way, just that they're matched up together. I find that's a coincidence.
Right.
So,
sorry, John, go.
Would you say it's possible for Conker and Manny to be in the same universe?
Potentially. Maybe.
Well, it won't be Smash because we're only going to pick one of them here today. Haha.
There you go. What would have been fun if that for the snippet reel is just a funny thing about Conker is that he dies. It's like, whoa! It's where I thought we were going for a second. Okay. I do like both these characters' backgrounds. I mean, Conker being a cute and fluffy animal and on the Game Boy and Diddy Kong Racing, and then suddenly it's, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Has a certain novelty to it. Manny, I mean, his background is immaculate. There's not a game like Grim Fandango, and it's very celebrated for a reason. Again, some cool things in Kelly's movesets. Conker has a counter, but it's a 3-in-1 counter where, depending on what you tilt on the diagonal stick, you can get a different type of return on it. And then Manny, I mean, he just has a number of things. He has a scythe. He has a fire extinguisher he can use. He's carried by carrier pigeons for his up special. There's some shit going on.
Oh yeah.
And of these two, I mean, it's difficult. One is certainly, I think Conker, has more of a obvious mainstream legacy than Manny does. But Manny's the cult classic here, and he has a lot of fans who really love it. And I think Kelly did a good job of exacerbating that and showing why on the wiki.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
But both these games are big in their own spheres of gaming. Like Grim Fandango, as we mentioned, is a popular point-and-click adventure game, but it's not like typically when you think of point-and-click adventure games. Like for me personally, I tend to think of games for younger kids. Well, no, I'm thinking more like how my childhood was like Putt Putt and Spy Fox, and those were all the point-and-click and pick games to me as a kid. So like I didn't know for years that they were like more adult point-and-click adventure games like Grim Fandango. So that was always something I was just like, this is a thing? What? Mm-hmm. And then Conker is very much, oh god, he's kind of like how Travis is. He's got a lot of raunchiness to him. He fights the great and mighty Pooh, which is the one thing I know about Conker. And that song, oh my god.
It even got kind of carried over in Mario plus Rabbids in a bit of a homage, because there's an operatic boss that you fight, which has a bit of a similar style in the great, not in terms of imagery, but in terms of just the presentation, I suppose.
I was not aware of this.
Your princess is in another castle.
Doesn't there's also a remake for Conker's Team, Conker Live and Reloaded, and doesn't that one also like Conker is aware it's a remake or something? Like I think there's jokes about that at some place, or like the Great and Mighty Pooh's boss fight I think is done differently, and Conker knows that it's not how it used to be.
Yeah, I think it's probably, I could see it happening, because there's a few touches, like instead of cutting, he uses a chainsaw to cut an N64 logo in the original, but then he's using it for a Microsoft logo instead.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that could be an interesting thing if they were to do to Conker, just like, it's like, assuming I'm right and he has any kind of like fourth wall breaking or whatever, have him break the fourth wall and smash somehow. That'd be nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, smash its own Deadpool. There you go.
Yeah.
Smash locks up and he's like, the game's locked up. Sakurai, I get a help.
Smash alternate, yeah.
Hey, stop making me die, you shitty player. What the fuck? They're only level 2 CBUs. What's wrong with you?
Hello, is anybody out there? Hello? I think he's dead.
My god. That
give him some great idle animation quotes, or god, they could go nuts with that shit if they put Conker in.
That would be the best thing about him. That's like the real clarion call for Conker. That's something else. Yeah, you can go nuts with that.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
this
Manny, he's a Grim Reaper. He's got a scythe, which I'm just a fan of scythes in general. I think they're a fun weapon to use in gaming. Zasalamel was one of my favorite characters in Soul Calibur purely because of his scythe. He's just got a badass design. I fucking love that. His character, but his design was really good. But I mean, we got a fire extinguisher that he could use which have unique properties where it's like, oh, you're doing a fire attack at me? No. Like, that's something really cool I like about Kelly. She's like, Manny's moveset that Kelly did is one of my favorite Kelly movesets. I fucking love this thing. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
The travel package that... What?
He said thanks.
Can you hear me? Nothing?
You hear me? Okay.
Hello?
Sorry, I was gonna say yeah. I'm glad that one turned out. I'm happy with how well that one turned out. I hope I didn't peak there.
Did anybody else hear those voices?
I heard nothing. What was that?
That
Oh,
guy
dear.
in the rap from earlier.
Maybe. But there's a lot of greatness here going on. But both these characters, they got announced, I think the internet would just... Typically, anytime a character gets announced Smash, the internet shits themselves. For good or for bad. It depends. But there's very few times when a character just gets like a meh response and everybody just moves on. But I think both these characters would be like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, it kind of inspires people to kind of research them. It's like there's some intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't believe they actually are doing this. Like it's kind of pushing the serial rating.
Yeah. So these are picks that nobody would, on a serious level, nobody would expect. And like if we were doing rate their chances, I'll give both these characters low score because I just don't fucking see it. But that doesn't matter for Smash Dash. Smash Dash is what we want. Doesn't give a fuck how likely they are.
If I can add something, another funny coincidence is I think the day I uploaded Conker's moveset, there's a channel called for Smash Remix for the original 64 mod.
Yep.
They announced that same day they had made a moveset for Conker. And it was kind of similar. It was they had some similarities.
Nice.
I'm always concerned whenever another like big popular thing or Smash itself announces introducing this character. And it's like, I made a version of that character. How do they compare? Sometimes I feel validated because I think my version is better. Sometimes it's like, oh, I got my ass handed to me on this one.
It's tough to
You can
say.
feel validated with your Aang moveset.
Yeah, my Aang moveset is better than Aang in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
There you go.
Oh, I see.
And Kelly could feel validated with his Violet moveset. There you go.
Yeah.
He
They're
just
both good.
he
They're
just
both
plays
alright.
so boring.
He's not bad. It's just I guess I don't know. It'd be hard to do.
There's a lot. I feel like there's better. There's better they could have done. He plays like I've seen a lot of people say that we're on this topic again because we always get back to Violet at some point. It seems like I've seen a lot of people say like he plays how they envision a Monster Hunter character would have played. It's like yeah, I fucking see that. Like he doesn't feel like Violet to me.
Right. Oh, he does take everyone else's weapons. There you go.
But those weapons don't get given to him. Those three specifically don't go to him.
They're representing the weapons. They're representing traditional Fire Emblem as like without going too far into it, obviously. Just traditional Fire Emblem as like with the triangle, but I think they could have used more from his own outing, so to speak.
But they could have used.
Crest
They could have
ability.
used like Marianne's sword that she gets. They could have used Hilda's axe. They could have used
Well, I mean,
Leonie's bow. They didn't have to use the weapons from the three main lords.
I feel like it's I don't know. We'll be here all night if we carry on like this.
You're right.
So, yeah, I mean, Excelsior. What are we thinking at this point with Manny and Conker, guys?
For me, between the two, like they're both they're a lot closer to me than the last matchup was, because I don't have a personal attachment to either of these two. I do think, based on what I do know of them, both their personalities and the things that they say, as well as like the kind of things that they could do for Smash, I think one sounds a little bit more fun than the other. So I have a lean, but I could be swayed.
Right. I'll say I think Conker. The argument for Makoto was that a lot of his flair it comes in the flair. It comes in the style, the aesthetic of Danganronpa. Same idea for Conker. Conker is all attitude and expressing that in the moveset, expressing that in like his character reveal, anything breaking the fourth wall, especially. That's the meat of Conker. That's what you want to see. That's what will get people excited. And then Manny, again, kind of a fun offbeat pick character, less crazy than Conker, in those regards, right? But still an interesting choice from that perspective. But more so, I think Manny, I'll say outright, is the stronger move set between the two that Kelly's presented. So seeing that in itself, and seeing like the fire extinguisher, the carrier pigeons, the tickets, etc., expressed in this move set, appeal to me in a way that as Derek does, where you're saying, oh, this is a very pronounced style, very specific to the character, and he executes it perfectly. And in this case, I'm thinking Mylene again goes with the character that has, in my opinion, the more interesting move set. So we'll see.
All right. What about you, Kelly?
And yeah.
I think I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking, well, Conker. He's in terms of who I think would realistically get in, Conker all the way, because like
Sure.
Conker and like imagine Conker in Fighters Pass 2 would be like the natural progression of Banjo in Fighters Pass 1, sort of like with Hero and Sephiroth in a way, and he's almost a Nintendo character. Like if like
They
Rare.
would have absolutely used the Donkey Kong character reveal if they can get. 100%.
oh yeah, no doubt. Banjo just chilling with K. Rool and the Kongs, and the chainsaw revs up and starts cutting the house down. Ah! But it writes itself.
The
It really
question
does.
is,
But,
who would have been the fake out? Who would have been
Oh,
the fake out character for that?
oh, it would have been Super Lucky from Super Lucky's Tale on the Switch.
I mean, the other fake outs were characters that were already in, like Day-to-Day
true.
faked out for King K. Rool, Duck Hunt faked out for Banjo.
That's a tough question. That's a tough call. Yeah,
Fox.
maybe Fox. Yeah.
So that makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But then I think Manny has an edge because he's just so mysterious, lugubrious. Going to poetry here. Yeah, he's got everything. He's got the count. He's got the neat, unorthodox counter. He's got the cool recovery. Yeah, I just think like Manny would have that appeal. They both have appeal, but I think
Sure.
Manny is just the more interesting one, the more interesting moveset for sure.
Yeah. I concur.
All right. Well, let's put our votes in here then, shall we?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Kelly? It sounded
vote
like okay. That's kind of what I was thinking you were going to go for. Jonno.
I vote Manny.
All right. Well, guys, I got to tell you here. It's Manny. Easy.
We got to the crux
Like
of the
I love the idea of having a Grim Reaper. He's got a scythe. Like Conker's got attitude as well, but I think I prefer just like Manny's style over Conker's.
Sure.
And then that's just a big factor for me there as well.
Well, there you go. We got our two winners.
We go. It's Manny Calavera and it's Makoto, and we'll see them again later on. But that is going to be it for Smash Refs here for today. Kelly, once again, a thank you for coming on. We've had you on here for 3 Smash Dashes now at this point. We'll have to figure out another type of episode that we can get you for eventually. We'll see what we can do there.
I've got some ideas.
Thank you. Thank you.
But next
Thanks
time
for
around,
playing.
it's going to be another on topic, and we kind of discussed it a little bit already earlier today. Next time around, we'll be taking a look at Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and discussing our thoughts and opinions on it, both as its own game and in comparison to Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Hopefully.
We'll see. I hear Garfield's in the game now, so I mean, how bad can it be? Kelly, thanks again. You are an awesome guest. We love having you.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right.
Beautiful man.
We'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.